Hello everyone. Since the last video, I've updated the default animation of bamboo being chopped. I've made my two final bamboo objects, and then I also went back through all my old objects to make sure they were working properly. Starting with the animation of the bamboo, it took a while for me to find something that worked right because at first I was messing around with the velocity vector of the rigid body, but everything was like way too fluid and didn't feel that satisfying when I chopped the bamboo. And actually eventually found out on accident that it looked pretty cool if I had like the two separate halves of the bamboo immediately separate from each other without any animation in the middle. So I felt pretty good about that because it gave that nice immediate feedback, but also it didn't get in the way of the player's view too much, so they could see what bamboo was coming up next behind that. So I know that that's going to be the method I choose, and I have something that works pretty well now, but still might need some tweaking. The next thing I did was make a new bamboo I call the nail bamboo. It is a piece of bamboo held together by a nail, and what the player has to do is hit the nail with their katana, and then they have to press two buttons at the same time to pull it out. So like if they, like on the right hand you have J, K, and L are your katana buttons for the different positions. So like if it came in the position where you had to press J, then you would have to hold K and L together to pull the nail out. This is one of those ones where I made the mistake of not applying my rotations in Blender before I put it into Unity. So I like built everything off of that, and that just messed everything up. So make sure you remember to apply your rotation, location, and scale before you move it into Unity. I made a pretty basic temporary animation that looks pretty bad right now, but I think this will be the only bamboo that doesn't have that default animation that I just made in the last part. And instead I want it to be more of like a gradual falling apart as the nail comes out, so we'll see how that looks. Right now it's pretty bad, but I plan to change it. And the last bamboo I made I'm dubbing the React bamboo. What it does is it comes in a random orientation on one side, and then you hit it, and then it moves to a random orientation on the other side, hit it there, and then it moves back to another random orientation on the same original side again for a total of 3 chops. It's designed to get some cross interaction between the left and right hand, and also just to sort of break up the normal pattern of like having every time on the metronome click you have something for the left hand and right hand, so this will sort of break that up a little bit. This is pretty easy to set up, all things considered, but it's kind of, again, ugly right now because of the textures looking kind of weird, but I'm pretty happy with it. So everything I worked on from here just involved going back to my old objects and making sure they function the way I want them to. Starting with the time flip bamboo, as I called it before, I'm now going to call it the timed bamboo because I got rid of the whole flip part, because it was testing, as I said in the last React bamboo thing, like that's sort of testing the left hand and right hand interconnectedness thing. So I feel like I should just reduce, and also I was having that problem with the time flip thing where it was like getting in the way of the screen when it was moving between the two. So I'm just going to make this test the timed part where you have to hit it on the metronome beat and then halfway between, on the half beat basically, between that metronome beat and the next one. I prefer the idea of my objects being easy to understand on their own, but then harder once you mix them in with each other. The next thing I did was fix the rotating bamboo, which I hadn't messed with in like 2 months, so that was interesting. It turned out that switching to the new control scheme where the katana is hit to the beat of the metronome instead of being held actually helps this bamboo out, because I was having this problem before where the bamboo would have to be spawned early enough that you could hold your katana and still hit it, but if it was spawned like way too early, then you could just react to how it looked without like predicting where it was going to be from the arrow. So now with this new method I can just have the arrow come and the bamboo doesn't spawn until you hit it. So that ended up working out pretty well. The last major thing I fixed was the memory bamboo. This one, unlike the rotating one, got worse with the new control scheme because all the animations and part of the actual mechanic was sort of based on the old control scheme. So I had to like find a way to switch it over to the new one, which didn't work too well exactly. I have something that's kind of working right now, because the problem is like when it's coming towards you in that weird floaty state after you hit it the first time and it's like slowly twisting around, it needs to be like that so you can't immediately tell which orientation it is just by looking at it. But then it has this problem where when you chop it, it looks kind of weird to just immediately transition into being chopped, and I can't really smoothly animate into that because then it's not an immediate like hit right when you hit it, so you don't get that, like, it doesn't feel as satisfying. So I have something that functions right now but doesn't look very good, so I'm going to probably need to redesign this a little bit. All the other Bamboo I updated was pretty easy, mostly just involved attaching new scripts that I had made to them, and they just sort of worked, so that was nice. And from here, I still haven't really reached my goal of having a playable game that people can test, but it does feel pretty good to have all that Bamboo finished, and I'm getting pretty close, so that's good. But from here, I just need to sort of tutorialize the levels I have and make sure they have the right level of difficulty. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.